After almost 3 inches of snow yesterday, we don't get much of a break before our next storm makes its way through. Find out just how much fresh snow to expect as we head into the weekend.
President Trump made a surprise visit to troops overseas. It was the first time to a combat zone since becoming commander-in-chief. We are entering day 6 of the partial government shutdown, and there is still no end in sight. Lawmakers are heading back to Capitol Hill today to see if they can avoid it lasting into the new year. 5 a.m. on our Thursday morning. Welcome to KREM 2 Morning News. I'm Jen York. Brittany Bailey is off this week. Well, after nearly 3 inches of snow, we're waking up to plenty of roads covered with the snow this morning. We want to get right to Evan Narani for a look at what we can expect today, and it sounds like more snow before the weekend. It does. It looks like after 2.8 inches exactly of snow that we saw last night, not only has it not melted over the roadways, but now we're expecting an additional layer of it as we go into your late Friday night, early Saturday morning. Take a look at what we see as far as your current temperatures. This is one of the reasons why that snow hasn't cleared out of the region, because our temperatures are in the teens in some areas, otherwise the 20s. We've got 25 degrees in Spokane, 12 degrees in Deer Park, 18 in Sandpoint, 24 in Moses Lake. Pretty much all of these temperatures, with the exception of portions of the Panhandle, are below freezing, which means that when that snow falls, it's not going anywhere. You can see more snow is on the way already. The next snowfall that we're expecting will come late Friday night into early Saturday morning. It's going to look almost exactly like it did yesterday. So we're expecting 1 to 3 inches. 2.8 is what we saw yesterday. We're leaning on a little bit lighter of a side this time, so we're looking at maybe 1 to 2, but still saying the possibility of 3. And along with this snowfall that we see late tomorrow night, we're also going to see those winds pick up, which we did not see yesterday. So gusty winds along with the next snowfall. Satellite radar, though, for today, looking at dry weather, partly cloudy skies in store for the afternoon. Temperatures will make their way to just about that freezing point, so otherwise not going to see too much melting of the snow, but the sun should peek out for a small portion of the day. And along with that, we also want to get a check of the driving conditions with KREM 2's Kira Alfall. She is in the mobile storm tracker this morning, looking at everywhere around the region. And if we're still seeing snow, Kira, what are you seeing outside right now?
Yes, good morning, Evan. Well, we've just hit the road this morning here on the South Hill. We'll give you a look at what we're seeing right now. We're kind of driving down some of these residential streets right now where we're seeing some packed in snow, a little bit icy conditions out here this morning. Of course, it is cold. You did get that snow overnight. So if you're going to be making your way out this morning, just be sure to give yourself extra time, plenty of time, because we're slipping and sliding a little bit this morning. We want to just stop real quickly and show you just how slick it is out here. Yeah, we're sliding a little bit. You're not seeing it as well as we are here experiencing it in the car, but it is slick out here this morning. So again, if you're going to be driving out, just give yourself extra time. We're going to be making our way all across the region this morning to give you updates on conditions thus far. So just be sure to stay tuned with us here in the show. For now, I'll send it back to you guys in the studio.
Here at 5:03, we want to take another close look at the morning commute with Amber Respachon.
Good morning. Well, we did see that Kira was having a tough time in the mobile storm tracker on the roadways, and I suspect that other drivers will have the same problem as well. We're taking a look at the different roadways, and you can see that the leftover snow is still on most of the roads, and if it's not, you're still going to run into slick conditions from the wet roadways. So definitely keep that in mind for your morning commute, and I would give yourself some extra time because you will have to go slower through this snow, and I would also give yourself some extra room between you and other drivers. I will keep an eye on the roadways in case any delays or congestion do start to form, but for now, I will go ahead and send it back to the studio.
All right, Amber, thank you so much. Coming up on 5:04 now. The Midwest is expected to see heavy snow today. The National Weather Service is expecting a major storm to impact holiday travel. Law enforcement officers are warning drivers of slick road conditions. Parts of the Dakotas have a blizzard warning in effect. And some airlines are allowing passengers to change their flight without a fee. If you are traveling to the Midwest, airline workers are urging passengers to keep a close eye on their flight status. President Trump and the First Lady are back in the U.S. after a surprise visit to Iraq and Germany. They visited troops stationed in both countries. It was the president's first visit to soldiers in a combat zone. This all comes as he faces criticism for his decision to pull U.S. troops out of Syria and Afghanistan.
We came to al-Assad to share our eternal gratitude for everything you do to keep America safe, strong, and free.
The president has faced criticism for not making this trip sooner. When he was asked if he had any concerns about visiting Iraq, he said not for himself, but he did have concerns for the First Lady. He also says there are no plans to withdraw troops out of Iraq right now. Well, we are in day 6 of the government shutdown. Congress returns to Capitol Hill today to negotiate an end to the partial shutdown. The president said he is waiting for Democratic leaders to help fund a $5 billion border wall.
How long do you think the shutdown will last, Mr. President?
Whatever it takes. I mean, we're going to have a wall. We're going to have safety.
Members of the House were told there will be no votes today. That means the shutdown will last at least another day. Children under the age of 10 will undergo new health screenings at Border Patrol facilities. The mandate follows the death of an 8-year-old migrant boy from Guatemala. He became sick and died on Christmas Eve. Border Patrol agents released more information about what happened. They say the boy and his father were detained near the Texas border. They were transferred twice and ended up in New Mexico because of overcrowding. Agents in New Mexico noticed the boy was sick. Agents say his illness quickly escalated from a common cold into a deadly one. He was treated at a hospital for a cold and released from the ER just hours before he died.
Our stations are not built for that group that's crossing today. They were built 30, 40 years ago for single adult males, and we need a different approach.
There was also concern about possible diseases that could possibly spread at Border Patrol facilities. Homeland Security has reached out to the Coast Guard and FEMA asking for medical help in hopes of preventing another death. Earlier this week, mourners gathered in Guatemala for a funeral for a little girl who also died in U.S. custody. Earlier this month, a 7-year-old and her father were detained in Texas. They traveled more than 2,000 miles to reach the border. When she was in custody, she broke out with a fever and was severely dehydrated. She later died at a hospital. Investigators are still looking into her death. Immigration and Customs officers released more than 500 migrants at sites across Texas and New Mexico. Authorities with ICE say another 500 people could be let go earlier today. Now, that brings the number of people released this week to more than 1,000. More than 180 people were released on Christmas Day, and an additional 400 others were let go 2 days before that. ICE says the mass releases were designed to ensure families were not held longer than the permitted time frame. A 7-year-old girl from South Carolina got a special phone call on Christmas Eve. It was from the president himself. It was part of the NORAD Track Santa program, and the president's conversation with her went viral after he asked this question.
Are you still a believer in Santa? Because at 7 it's marginal, right?
Well, many criticized and questioned the president for asking that question. This morning, we are hearing the story from the little girl's point of view.
Probably put out some cookies, and then we're hanging out with our friends, so that's pretty much all.
Well, that's very good. Well, you just have a good time.
Yes, sir.
Are you still a believer in Santa?
Yes, sir.
Because at 7 it's marginal, right?
Yes, sir.
It rolled right over. She was fine. But it did make well, the girl's mom said she was a bit nervous when she first heard that question, but she says all is well. She says the little girl just rolled right past the question. Coming up on 5:09 now, actor Kevin Spacey is facing felony sexual abuse charges. There is video allegedly of him sexually assaulting an 18-year-old boy. That is according to Massachusetts State Police. The victim told police he filmed the alleged event in 2016. Spacey is set to be arraigned in the new year on January 7th. Temporary relief centers are being provided in parts of Indonesia. It is to provide medical treatment to those who were injured in the deadly tsunami. The death toll has gone up again this morning. The tsunami is now blamed for 429 deaths. On top of that, more than 1,400 people are injured. Doctors on scene say people are suffering from different illnesses such as colds and even skin disease. It is 5:09 now on our Thursday morning. Well, whether you're a Cougs fan or a Zags fan or maybe just a sports fan in general, you probably know that 2018 was an exciting year in the Inland Northwest. This morning, we are taking a look back at the top stories from sports that we saw in our community.
And we saw some snowy weather yesterday, and there could be more on the way. Your forecast is after the break.